What's going on, folks? This is Acid Root, so we've got more Jackie Chan to mess with. So this is going to be a bundle of fun here, and I just kind of noticed that I looked up the information about this game. So there's 15 stages in this game, so this is going to be kind of a scant game, but I'm going to try to flesh it out a bit to I am going to show some of the deaths and stuff, so it's not going to just be success only. I feel like it's definitely, the shorter a game is, the more I feel like the nuances need to be shown and stuff. So I definitely feel like that'd be like a good thing. But you know what I didn't realize is there are lives in this game. I mean, it makes sense. This is basically like, you know, like a classic 90s game or something where you can get a game over. I mean, I'm so used to, like, you know, me being used to like PS2 games where you just keep going back to the same spot. You don't really have lives, and game overs are just, you know, especially after like the PS2, game overs just don't really happen to that degree and stuff. So it's kind of somewhat refreshing to be reminded, like, hey, you know, you can lose if you don't pay good enough attention here. So it's the concept, but yeah. So it was an enjoyable romp. We'll see how tough this game gets, supposing there's only 15 stages. A lot scanter than I thought it would be. I don't know if scanter is a word, but it should be. But, so, it is what it is, you know. This is basically just like a PlayStation version of a Jackie Chan movie, and that's, you know, pretty much not a bad thing whatsoever. So, I'll tell you, some of these assholes, the thing that pisses me off about them is they know how to attack you when, like, block really doesn't help, because I think you have to hit the block button as they hit it. Well, what I'm trying to say is you can hold the block button so Jackie Chan just continues to block, but they still somehow wind up hitting you. So I don't know what the point of the block button is if you are holding the R1 or R2 button that you need to block and they still wind up hitting you. I mean, I know it would be too easy if they didn't have that function, but it's kind of strange as to where exactly you're supposed to block, and I think that's kind of the concept. These guys get some really cheap hits in, and on top of that, the fact that you can get hit by multiple people at once, so 2 or 3 of these guys will attack you at once. It's basically like, is this ridiculous how that kind of goes? But yeah, definitely not like Super Nintendo beat 'em ups where only one character can hit you at one time. So, kind of the thing, but you know, Jackie Chan's tough. He can deal with it. He's capable of taking these. I mean, he gets his ass kicked in movie. He's not someone. You get the idea. But yeah, so just have to I do like this kind of being in Chinatown and stuff. It's pretty dope to kind of see that, because there needs to be a Chinatown in Missouri. You know, that's where I'm from. That's where I hail. But just to kind of say, like, there needs to be like a Chinatown. It's really just like in New York and stuff, and then other places like obviously in Asia and stuff. But there needs to be more Chinatowns than just like maybe California, New York, and Nevada. You know, some of those places. It'd be cool. It'd be decent to kind of see that. I mean, even though, I mean, I'm not too big a fan of Chinese food, but I do at least like egg rolls. You know, that's decent stuff. I always wish that egg rolls would have like melted cheese in them. It has vegetables, and typically I don't like, you know, I'm not too big a veggie guy, but that's one of the few vegetable inclined foods that I don't have a distaste for. So it's kind of, but it would be nice to kind of get a cheese-filled egg roll. It's like, yeah, come up with it. I mean, here's your sign. You know, here's $1 million idea that would work if they were to do that. Because I do like crab ragout. That's definitely, those are tasty as fuck, you know. You know, especially if you got the munchies, that type of stuff. Plenty of situations for that. It's this good overall type feeling to sit there and do that. You're going to see something stupid happen to Jackie Chan here in a second. This was the most idiotic thing. So that, I mean, yeah, Jackie Chan just got smashed by a fucking semi or something. And it's like, how are you supposed to see that coming? I mean, especially if you've never played this game before, to sit there and say, oh yeah, don't forget to jump. I mean, just because like the railing is so thin, I probably should have seen that coming, but I wasn't expecting that sort of stuff. I mean, you It's actually not a fantasy video game where you'd have to jump across pits or something, so I guess it makes sense, but it's like, hey, you know, a warning would have been nice, game. So, you know, and really, it would almost be funny. You would think if someone was actually chasing a person with a car like that, that they'd try to honk their horn or something just to really freak them out. That would be kind of something they could do to psych the person out, to really get them spooked. Because, you know, because that car was literally trying to run over Jackie Chan. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm just gonna knock you up the street. He was trying to crunch his bones and that type stuff. So, I mean, this is a T-rated game, but just to say, yeah, he was just trying to a semi was just trying to run over Jackie Chan and stuff, and obviously a semi is definitely not something that most people would survive getting ran over by, so it's just kind of, but it would have been even more freakish. That's something that could be in like a horror movie. It would be more freakish if you like honked the horn or something. But these assholes, this is the end of the stage here. These assholes really pissed me off, just because I mean, yeah, you can hit all three of them at once, but they can, like, these guys can, yeah, they're hit, completely ruin my health here, and, I was like, damn, Holmes, you know, because beat-em-ups will do that, they'll crowd you, and don't forget, you can destroy this area, too, and the background will hurt you. So, like, the roof can cave in, and that sort of stuff will happen, and it'll damage Jackie. You want to knock them into it, but you don't want to get hit by it if you knock it out from under them. So, the trick that you can use, but it's just kind of like, damn it. You know, sometimes that happens in Jackie Chan movies where the background will work against Jackie Chan, but most of the time he manages to make it work against them. So, it's just kind of, it's an extra thing. The grab button to flip tables and chairs. I probably could have stood to done that, but whatever. I'll try to remember that for later, viewers. But yeah, there's actually 2 health items, so they realize that this section is kind of a pain in the ass. So it's kind of, there's 2 milk cartons that you can get, and it's probably good to space them out, knock out the 3 enemies, then go back and, because there's at least 6 or 7 enemies that you're gonna have to fight in that area. So. Nice kick to the chin. Kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to get all these emblems. It just doesn't feel like there's enough emblems in these stages. I'm really like, what the hell? You know, they just kind of place them all around. I'm like, well, where the fuck are they? You know? I don't know where. There were 6 other of these floating around like that I would have been able to see them. I mean, I did notice that there were some jumpable areas that I didn't get to. It's just kind of like, damn. And I want to say that the enemies can hurt each other, too. I'm not for certain, but maybe. It's not like they're going to actively do it, but it's kind of getting a little bit peeved here. Yeah, I'm going to go and get my power up. So yeah, I'm going to keep these short. I mean, I could make them 15 minutes like I normally do, but I kind of feel like this is, because this is such a scant game, it's not going to really be the end of the world if it's just like, you know, maybe I'll do it later depending upon what happens, but I suspect a good 12, 13, 14 episode thing wouldn't be that big a deal. So, another PS1 game that I can beat. I just wonder who the final boss is going to be. You know, we'll go on to see what that's going to be like. No. I will give it an E for effort as far as trying to do this, folks. This kind of depends, but alright, so that concludes stage 2. So now we've got, next time we'll begin stage 3 of 15, and we'll see how much more this game ramps up. It's going to be kind of the thing and shit. It's going to be relatively simple. Or maybe it won't. You know, that's kind of a situation we don't really know for certain. At least I don't. So it's just, I mean, it's an interesting little game, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, folks. So next time we get to stage 3 and we'll see more Jackie Chan either getting his ass kicked or doing some real good type shit right here. So it'll be some fun. Subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.